Where is Barack Obama? That was the question that had everyone talking. Michelle Obama had just stepped into a major new venture, but for the first time in years, her husband was nowhere to be seen. The former First Lady, known for her strength, intelligence, and undeniable bond with Barack, made a move that left people stunned. Social media was flooded with speculation. Was there trouble in paradise? Was Michelle trying to send a message? You won't believe what we discovered. Michelle had always been more than just a political spouse. Even before she entered the White House, she had built a successful career as a lawyer, a hospital administrator, and a community advocate. But when Barack Obama became president, her identity became deeply connected to his. She was the First Lady of the United States, a role she played with grace and power. People admired their love story. They were the ultimate power couple, strong, supportive, and inseparable. Or at least that's what the world thought. But here was the shocking part. Things had started to change. Michelle Obama was stepping into a new chapter, one that had nothing to do with Barack. She had launched a new venture that she described as a personal and professional leap. But why now? And more importantly, why was Barack missing from the picture? This was where it got interesting. For years, Michelle and Barack had worked together. Whether it was political campaigns, Netflix deals, or public initiatives, they were always side by side. But now, Michelle was standing alone. What made this story different? It wasn't just that she was working on a solo project. Her words hinted at something deeper. In recent interviews, Michelle had talked about facing complicated and confusing times. Those words set off alarm bells. What was she really referring to? Was she talking about personal struggles, changes in her marriage, or something else entirely? The craziest part was she didn't give a clear answer. She simply said she was figuring things out on her own. That left people asking, was Michelle trying to break free from the Obama brand? Destiny had taken an unexpected turn. For years, Michelle had been celebrated as one of the most influential women in the world. But until recently, her public image was always connected to Barack. Their chemistry, their shared journey, their perfect partnership, it was all part of the brand. But what if Michelle was ready to step out of that shadow? What if this new venture was her way of proving that she wasn't just Barack's wife, but a force of her own? People had noticed the shift. She had been attending major events alone, making bold statements, and carving a path that didn't necessarily include Barack at every step. Was this just a natural change, or was something bigger happening behind the scenes? And if so, what did that mean for the future of the Obamas? The whispers grew louder. Everywhere Michelle went, people wanted to know, where was Barack? His absence wasn't just a coincidence anymore. It was deliberate. Reporters asked, but she gave no clear answers. She smiled, she changed the subject, and she moved on. But the mystery only deepened when Barack himself remained completely silent. No public statements, no social media posts, nothing. It was as if he had vanished from the spotlight. Then came the moment that changed everything. Michelle attended a high-profile event, one that Barack would have usually been by her side for. Cameras flashed, journalists swarmed, and the world watched closely. She looked stunning, confident, and more independent than ever. But something was missing. It wasn't just Barack's presence, it was the way she carried herself. For the first time, she seemed different. She wasn't playing the role of a wife supporting her husband's legacy. She was owning her own story, unapologetically. People started digging. Was there tension behind closed doors? Insiders close to the Obamas dropped subtle hints. Michelle has always been ambitious in her own right, one source said. She loves Barack, but she also has dreams that don't always align with his. Another source claimed that their relationship had been tested in ways no one had ever imagined. Then, a shocking revelation surfaced. Michelle had been quietly making major career moves, ones that didn't involve Barack at all. A new book deal, private meetings with influential figures, and even discussions about something bigger, something political. Could Michelle Obama be preparing for something no one saw coming? The thought sent shockwaves across the political landscape. If Michelle was considering a future in politics, it would explain a lot. But there was one problem. Barack had always said he was done with political life. If Michelle was taking a different path, was it causing a divide between them? Social media exploded with theories. Some believed this was the start of Michelle's independent journey. Others feared it was a sign of trouble. But what happened next was even more surprising. Michelle made a speech, one that had everyone on the edge of their seats. She spoke about personal growth, about redefining herself, about stepping outside of expectations. Every word felt carefully chosen, as if she was telling the world something without actually saying it. But then she paused. She looked at the audience, took a deep breath, and said something that sent chills down everyone's spine. Sometimes in life, you have to walk a road you never expected, even if it means walking alone. The room fell silent. Was she talking about her career, or was she talking about something much deeper, something about her and Barack? The world was in a frenzy. Michelle's words spread like wildfire. News outlets dissected every sentence, social media was flooded with speculation, and even her closest friends were left wondering, was she hinting at a personal separation, or was she simply stepping into her own identity? The uncertainty made it all the more intriguing. Then, something unexpected happened. Barack finally broke his silence. But instead of a formal statement or a press conference, he made a subtle move. An old photo of him and Michelle, smiling together, posted on his social media. No caption, no explanation, just the image. The simplicity of it made people even more suspicious. Was it an attempt to silence rumors? Or was it a quiet message reminding everyone that they were still together despite the whispers? Michelle didn't respond, not publicly. Instead, she carried on, moving forward with her projects and public appearances. But people started noticing small details. She wasn't wearing her wedding ring at one event. At another, she dodged a question about Barack with a soft smile and a vague answer. It was enough to fuel more theories. Then came the most shocking moment yet. An anonymous source, someone reportedly very close to the Obamas, leaked something to the media. According to them, Michelle had been spending increasing time away from Barack, not just physically, but emotionally. They love each other. That's never been in question, the source said, but love isn't always enough. The words sent shockwaves. Was this the beginning of the end for one of the world's most admired couples? Some refused to believe it. Others pointed out how long they had been together, how much they had endured. But a few began to wonder, was Michelle finally choosing herself over the life she had built with Barack? Then, just when the world thought they had it figured out, Michelle did something that left everyone speechless. She made a private trip, alone. No security detail, no cameras, no public itinerary. No one knew where she was going, except for a single clue. An old friend of hers, someone from her past, was waiting for her. Someone she hadn't seen in years. The weight of the revelation settled heavily over the world, but neither Michelle nor Barack addressed it. Their silence only fueled more speculation. Every movement, every public appearance, and every absence was scrutinized. The media waited for one of them to break, to finally confirm or deny the whispers that had now turned into a deafening roar. Then, Michelle made another unexpected move. She canceled an upcoming public event without explanation. The event was one she had been excited about, her book tour, where she was set to speak about resilience and personal growth. But suddenly, without warning, it was off the schedule. The organizers released a vague statement about unforeseen circumstances, but the public wasn't buying it. Something was happening behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Barack resurfaced in an unusual place, Hawaii, the very island where he had spent his childhood, where he often retreated when he needed clarity. Photos emerged of him walking alone along the beach, deep in thought. It was a stark contrast to his usual presence, always surrounded by people, always with purpose. But this time, he looked like a man searching for something, answers, peace, or maybe just himself. For the first time, people began to see the cracks, not just in their relationship, but in the image of perfection they had always carried. Were they truly growing apart? Was this an unspoken farewell? Neither had been seen together in weeks. Even their closest friends remained silent. Then came Michelle's cryptic Instagram post, a simple photo, an empty chair by the window, overlooking the city skyline. No caption, no context, just an empty seat. The internet exploded. Was this a message, a symbol of loneliness, a goodbye? Some believed it was a sign that she had already moved on, while others thought it was a quiet invitation for Barack to return, to sit beside her again. The tension had reached its peak. Something had to give. The world held its breath, waiting for the final answer.